Good morning, everybody. Welcome to AP Stats. This is a session on influential points, okay? And influential points, just like the name indicates, have a large influence, okay? And they have a large influence on the least squared regression line if they're either in or taken out of that data set, okay? So here we go. Influential points, if removed, have a significant effect on the least squares regression line. Note it can be an internal or an external outlier that is an influential point. If an external outlier is said to have a high leverage, okay, so an external outlier, that's an influential point almost no matter what. It draws that line right to it, okay? And the key thing here is that it may not have a large residual to be an external outlier. So you'll see that in our examples coming up. An internal outlier, to be within the data set of points, it isn't an outlier unless it has a large residual. So we'll see that as well. Okay, so I got 5 quick examples to go over and we'll talk about these here. Okay, first example here, is point A an internal or external outlier? So this is my data set. Since it's outside of that, that's an external outlier. Okay, if point A were removed, what would happen to the value of R? Remember, R is your correlation coefficient. That's the linear strength or how linear your set is. Okay, and a good indicator of a strong R is if it is easier to draw a line on it now, then it has a stronger R value or a higher R value. If it's harder to draw a line on there, it's less linear. So that would mean R would be decreasing. And slope, as you know, okay, slope would be going out increase and slope would be decreasing if it went down more. Okay, so our first one right here, okay, at the moment, okay, I would say that without A, the line would be something like this, okay, but with A is going to draw it up that way. So it's going to be something like this here, okay? All right, now if I were to remove A, my second line here, if A was to completely be gone, okay, then I would say my new line would be down there, okay? All right, so on this one, the easy one to see is the slope. The slope was up there and now it moved down there. So the slope has decreased. Okay, the value of R, which one's easier to draw the line on? I think with the A value is, so I would say that the linearness would be decreasing. The value of R would decrease in this first example. Example number 2. Okay, all right, A is an external outlier. It lies far outside the data set. Okay, and it looks like my line is really close to somewhere around that neighborhood, okay? And I want you to notice that this is an influential point. It draws it right there, okay? But if it wasn't there, if I were to remove it, it looks like the line is almost the same. It's really close. Let's not put it right on there. Let's say it's like that, okay? With or without, okay? So in this particular example, the value of R, if I were to remove it, like picture that line staying the same basically, but now without that pulling it directly there, it's going to have a weaker correlation coefficient without A. So A is making it stronger by really pulling that line right there. Okay, the value of the slope would remain about the same. If I were to move A altogether, oops, I'll get my line there, then I would say that line would stay about the same position. Okay, so that's a good example of an external outlier. It's an influential point, yet it still has a small residual. Number 3. Okay, point A again is an external outlier. Okay, in this case, watch, this is a very different one. This one's hard to tell where to put that line. I think it would either go like this or it could head down. Now with A there, I can put that line on there. With A, it's going to come down here somewhere. That A is going to draw it down there, that point, okay? So that is going to strengthen R when I put that on there, okay, with A in there. When I take A out, it's going to be less linear. I hardly know which way to draw the line, okay? And I can't really tell. I don't know which direction it would be. If I were to remove A, it would definitely be weaker. I can't even like draw a line really on there, okay? I would guess, if I were to take A out, it might be something like this, Okay, on the same hand, I could see it being something like that. Okay, either way, with A, it's going to be pulled down more. Without A, it's going to come up some. Okay, and I would say the slope will increase on that. And A will make it stronger, so removing A, make it less linear, the value of R would decrease. Okay, point A, that's an internal outlier now. Notice that the line would be something like that, let's say. Okay, and notice that it wouldn't be an outlier if it was one of these points. It's only an outlier because it has a large residual separating it from the group. That's why you're saying it's an outlier. Okay, so if it's an internal outlier, it has to have a large residual. As we saw, that wasn't the case for the external outliers. Okay, if I were to remove A, what would happen? Okay, well, here's what's going to go on with these ones. Okay, this line here is going to get drawn up a little bit, and you'll find that if you check with actual points, okay, that it'll largely stay the same slope. Okay, it'll just move the line up a little bit. Okay, all right, and with R in, I would say it's less linear. If I were to remove R, I know where to draw that line. With R, that's not near the line, it's less linear. Okay, so the value of R, if I were to take it out, would increase, it would be more linear, and this line would probably drop down here. It would change my y-intercept a little bit, but my slope would be about the same in this case. All right? Last one. This looks like another internal outlier. I want you to notice that this one, it looks like a blob here. I have no idea where that line goes at all. Okay? Once I put that point up there, though, oh, now I know it's going to draw it up. My smartboard shut off there. Let's see if I'll get it now. So once I have A in there, I have a place to draw the line. Okay? All right, if I were to remove it, the value of R would drastically decrease, okay? Because I don't even have a direction anymore. It'd be close to 0. Okay, so that gives it some linearness, some direction. The value of the slope, I can't even begin to guess that because I have no idea. This looks like a correlation near 0. And I don't know which way that line would go, so I wouldn't be able to answer the slope on this one. All right, and I believe that's it for the day. All right, thank you guys.